Welcome to the Solution of Real Estate podcast, where Jeff Seabach and myself, Phil Sexton, we sit down with microphones between us to talk about the industry. When we started this podcast, we used to bring on guests to tell us how they were putting consumers first in their business.
Yes.
We had probably, 100 different guests from across the country.
Right.
And then we morphed. That was that season.
Yep.
And then we went into our second and third seasons where we started just talking about the ways that what we were addressing on our team.
Right. More skills-based attacks, right? Like, how do we help agents improve their business? Yeah.
Yes. But now, as we have been meeting new agents from different parts of the country, like we've come back to let's bring on special guests so that we can learn from them as well, right?
Well, because they just get tired of just listening to me and you, and we got to hear, what other people in the world
don't include me in that. But
so
yes,
who we got today?
So today we have a realtor out of San Diego, and not just any realtor.
I mean, isn't he the first to? Is it 500 transactions or 500?
He was the first agent to do 500 transactions in San Diego in a single year, but that was so last year, Jeff. He's already done 750 this year. He's on pace to do 800. He actually went from 24 transactions a year to 800 transactions in a year in a 6-year period of time. And so that's why we're going to learn from him today 3 things that all of us can do to go from 28 deals to 800 deals in a 6-year span.
I can't wait.
Let's welcome Mark Pattison to the room.
Yeah!
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. That was very generous.
Did you hear the thousands of fans applauding just then?
I did.
That was a soundtrack.
It's a new meta universe, right? Like where your audience isn't in front of you anymore; they're across the land, right?
Yeah. Yes, they're across the web.
The
web. So what's up, Mark? Thanks for saying yes, first and foremost.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Just hanging out in San Diego. I'm randomly here. I like to travel a lot, so I work from my laptop a lot, and just hanging out in my office in San Diego.
Awesome. So we met at a comedy night I guess it was a month ago or so now, right? Where you came to Phoenix from San Diego just because you wanted to be a stand-up comedian for a 20-minute set.
I did not want to be. I got asked to be because someone said, Mark, you're one of the funniest real estate agents I know. How about you come out and do stand-up? And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do that. And then she's like, oh, come on. I'm like, you know what? I want to say yes to more things, so I'm going to do it. One of the most nerve-wracking things you can ever do in your life, if you want to get a little nervous, is doing stand-up. But it went decent, I think.
You killed it.
Oh, I thought you did great.
Yeah, you did outstanding.
Sorry, I forgot a pen.
You did outstanding, even though the MC might have spilled the punchlines of
It's okay. She does enough deals on her own. She can do whatever she wants.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Awesome.
All right. So welcome. I know when you were here and you talked about the fact you were the first agent to do 500 transactions in San Diego. That's amazing. That's outstanding. And so, Jeff, we talked about a few questions that we want to ask him.
Yeah,
but I want to stick with what our topic is as well. And that's 3 things that other agents can do. Like maybe we get into how he got those first 24.
Right. So, yeah. So I think it's more of, because a lot of the people we talk to are thinking about a team. So like what point in your 24 transactions where you're like, you know what? I think I got bigger plans. Like
I need help.
I need help. Yeah. So what did it look like because that's the hardest thing usually for people to do is, okay, how do I bring that first person on? Like what was the source? What was the decision-making? And we'll let you go from there.
For sure. And to start off, I mean, I kind of fell into being a team leader, to be honest. I had been an agent for 1 year. I had sold 24 homes and I sat at a conference and I was telling a story of how I was helping an author. And the gal in front of me at the conference turns around. She was like, so-and-so is your client? And I'm like, yeah, I don't really know. Is she like super famous? She's like, oh my gosh, she's like one of the most famous authors, all this stuff. I didn't know too much about her. That gal talked me into starting a team. So year 1 in the business, it was not my idea. I started it. I had done 24 transactions. I was actually a buyer's agent on a team. And to kind of come around all this, guys, like, yes, I'm at 700 and something deals this year. If you're a solo agent and you kick butt and you don't like people or running a team and you're profitable, stick with what you got. Having a team is not necessarily always better. There's a lot of teams out there that are not profitable. There's a lot of solo agents that I know that make probably about the same as I do. And they're they're obviously killing it. But I mean, running a team is very, very expensive. So just keep that in mind. Also, whenever you hear people speak, don't ever compare yourself to someone else doing something different. I mean, everyone's got different journeys. I may have had a different foundation to help me. My dad and my mom were never very nice. They were always like, do better. No. So I had that foundation as a childhood. No, actually, I went to Catholic school. My parents were actually very nice. The nuns were the ones that were mean. But besides that, like you can't compare yourself to someone else. So it was at that 24 transaction mark that I brought on some agents. And of those 5 agents I had, actually none of them are on my team anymore. And I don't know if any of them are actually in real estate anymore. So I know that for sure 3 are not. I'm not sure what the other 2 are. So my team has been an evolution over the last 5 years. December 12th is going to be my 5-year anniversary for my team. So it's been a journey, probably about 4 variations, but right now we are pretty damn stable. I'm at 87 agents, building that up, hiring sales managers, hiring more support staff. My goal is to have 200 agents by next June, and then 300 agents by the end of next year.
Awesome.
Wow. At what point were you think broker? Sorry, just because I want to finish off that thought, and we'll dive into some of the things you said. So at what point, I mean, we have found EXP to be a great platform for growing teams because you don't have to. I mean, we're, a decent size as well. Is there a point where you're like, okay, maybe when I get to this number, then I'll think outside, or you're like, you know what, I think get to 1,000 inside EXP?
I'm going to have 300,000 on my team in EXP. No, I don't know. I'm going to have like 60,000 or something. But what I heard, I'm coached directly by Tom Ferry now. And Tom coaches Gino Bafari. He's the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. Gino has 90,000 agents. So why can't I have 90,000 agents? But the whole idea of how big you can get within a brokerage or how small, at EXP, people are like, oh, I don't have a team. EXP is not for me. Well, if you compare apples to apples of any brokerage, hate to break it to you, in my opinion, I've looked at everything because I was moving a lot of people when we were moving over to EXP. I really dove deep into this. And even if you're a solo agent, EXP is the way to go. My options were EXP, Compass, or doing my own brokerage. Now, doing your own brokerage, people are like, oh, I kind of want to have that pride that I created something. Well, my team is called PorchLight. A lot of people know my brand by PorchLight. And pretty much all my clients know that it's called PorchLight. And it's PorchLight brokered by EXP. So that alone has been giving me, I've created that. So that's kind of my own brokerage.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. I mean, what piece do you want to dive into there?
I want to know when you bring on, I mean, you've had so many iterations of team members. Like one of the things that we know is when we bring on an agent and they're sitting in an interview with us, right? And they ask you've spent a solid 48 minutes with this person. And then the question comes out and they say, well, how they want you to judge them based on what you know. And so they say things like, how long is it going to take me to make any money? Or how many months should I prepare to not have income come in? Or some version of, will you please judge me based on these 48 minutes that you just sat across the table from me on whether I'm going to make it in this industry or not? How do you do that?
We got a system set up. So this is our whole interview process from start to finish. So we get a lot of inquiries from our team because a lot of agents on our team are posting on social media. People inquire. We send them to a link. It's PorchLightRealtyTeam.com/careers. They fill that out. It basically says, hey, you have to be licensed to fill this out. If you're not licensed, start from there. California, it takes forever to get your license, especially with COVID. It takes about 9 months. So we don't even start the interview process.
So you won't interview anyone that does not have a license?
Nope. Another thing is once that initial one comes in, we'll do a 10-minute Zoom saying, hey, do you have 3 months reserves? Can you do this full time? And basically like just kind of personality wise, like, will we mesh with you? That's the first Zoom and it's a 10-minute call. If they pass that, then we have them come in on Wednesdays. Typically we try to schedule them right before our new agent class. We do a new agent class every Wednesday from 11 to 1. And we say, hey, come in at 10:30. We'll do a 30-minute interview, come into the office. They interview specifically with one person on our team. And then if she thinks they're a good fit, We then invite them to that class right then. If they can't stay, then we invite them to the next week and we kind of onboard them. We make them have 3 months reserves. We make them be full-time. We make them, and it's suggestions. We don't make them do anything because they're 1099. We do make them have reserves and we do make them be full-time, but we don't say, hey, you have to be in the office. But if they're not in the office, then they're not going to get on leads. For the first 30 days, I created a university called PorchLight University. I was sick of the, do you have a minute? So anytime someone asked me, do you have like a minute? I would take out my Zoom, I would hit record and I would have them ask the question and then I would answer it on Zoom. I would save it in a file and then I started creating this database of videos with answers. And so I have this huge university of 190 modules and we've created it to have professional photographer, videographer in there now. Now, when I started it, it was crap and it was on a Google Drive and it was like all messy. Well, I took this kid that I was like, well, this kid's pretty smart. What I'm going to do when I onboard him, because I was the onboarder at the time, I said, you're going to go through my entire university and you're going to clean it up and put it into Teachable. And in return, I'm going to hand you off all my past clients as layups. And he's like, heck yeah, because I stopped selling. So I gave him a lot of my past clients for a fee. And so I built out this university. So they go through that 190 modules. At the end of each section, there's a quiz. So it'll have a section, for example, on 1031 exchanges. Then it'll say, hey, how many days does your client have to locate? 30 days, 45 days, 90 days, 180 days. Which one's the answer? Well, for a brand new freaking agent on my team, they know the answer. And most people don't know that answer. They have 45 days to locate, 180 days to close. We don't do a ton of 1031s, but if they ever get that question, they know the answer. Other things are like lending, VA, FHA, what the loan max are. All of that stuff is in there. The funny thing is I probably wouldn't be able to pass now because I've kind of been out a little bit and, you know, things change. We also make them, so we go through that and then we make them do 5 sample offers throughout the first 30 days. Yep. So like week 1, they have to write an offer. Week 2, they send it to the admin team. The admin team reviews it back as if they're the listing agent. So the agent's got to call them. Hey, you know, I'm writing an offer on 123 Main Street. Do you have any offers? What's the situation like? What are your clients looking for a rent back, or what do they need? What's the important aspects? And then they go and they write the offer, they submit it, and then they tell them whether they accepted their offer or not. Then they also do 5 buyer consult videos, and they also do 2,000 dials logged through our CRM. And then after they finish all that, then they can take an in-person final exam of 150 questions. That is what they learned in the university and through writing the contracts. If they pass that, then they're on our team and they get introduced to a mentor. If they don't finish all that stuff, they're no longer on our team. See you later. We don't waste any time with them.
Yeah. Was that your first time explaining that?
No, but I do have to think it through because I'm like, wait, what's next? But no, yeah, if they don't go through that, because I'm sick of freaking hiring people that are like, oh, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to be the best real estate agent. And then they don't freaking show up. And you're like, where is that one person that said, you know, this one girl, every time she had a situation, I said, hey, look, this meeting here is called shit or get off the pot. And in 30 days, if you guys, and this is how we kind of implemented it. We had 10 people that were not doing all the stuff. And we're like, how long would it take to do this? One kid completed it in 7 days. Mind you, that kid's like a total rock star now and freaking crushing it. And he did the whole thing in 7 days. And he's 20 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm sick of people half-assing life. And I'm like, if you're going to come to PorchLight, I want you to kick ass because we want to be the best. So if you want to be great, act great. And I'm not trying to be, but that's the expectation we set from the beginning because that's how we have it throughout.
Right. So I know that part of your key topics, if you will, is online lead generation. And when I hear you talk about 2,000 dials, when I see online lead generation as one of your key things, and then I hear 2,000 dials, it makes me question, okay, is it 2,000 dials to the people that have come through your online lead generation? Or are you a circle prospector and
Nope. So what we do is we purchase online leads. So I'm sure a lot of us have a CRM with an old database of leads that we never got a hold of. So we have our new agents practice on those leads. We have probably 15,000 leads in there now.
Is that so like in YLopo or?
Yep. Yeah. So YLopo and Follow Up Boss. So we use Follow Up Boss, YLopo. I've got referral links on there. I have a tech stack that I can post and you guys can see all the different CRMs and things I use. But it's called marksresources.com. And then there's a thing on the top that says tech stack. So if you click on that, I'll tell you all the different things I use. But through there, we do pawns. So a new agent will get a pawn for the week and they'll get pawn letter A or pawn letter B. It's just a random assortment of old leads. Coolest thing about it is we used to call them the dead leads, but now we call them the money leads. So we like change the mindset of what it is. Agents that come on our team, majority of them, the good ones that start out, get their first deal out of those old leads. One kid got a listing from 2017 realtor.com lead. He got it in January. He just got his license in January. He's done 27 listings in San Diego, and he's a new agent.
That's awesome.
And he got his first deal was a listing. So my agents can list and they can buy. And mind you, he's way better agent than I'll ever be, which is kind of funny. But he's just a freaking rock star. He's like military, was a bartender, wasn't sure what he wanted to do. Got on the phones, and he's a total listing agent, and got his first listing off of a 2017 Realtor.com lead.
Awesome. He did 27 listings in his first year. That's awesome.
And the year's not over. He got a little big-headed for a bit, and then he's like, okay, I got to come back. So now he's now just getting on our Zillow lead team, because for a bit, he was just like cranking off every person he met everywhere. He was like listing their house. I'm like, what? He's like, oh yeah, she was this lady at the grocery store. I told her she had to use me. She couldn't use her agent. I'm like, so he like listed some lady's house. He got her to cancel her contract with the other agent and list with him. He's a killer.
I wanted to learn a little bit more about just in the beginning, you said, because I thought it was a great story. You said that you hired 5 people your first year and none of them kept. So what was the changes you made in that to hire better agents? Because obviously you're hiring better agents. Was it something particular you added to how you train them? Was it different leads? What was it?
I mean, it's everything. If you think about it, where we came from, like 6 years ago or 5 years ago, a team and the structure and what we knew about teams was so foreign to what it is today. Right. It's been elevated. I mean, teams were back then, like a big team back in San Diego, a big team was like 10, 15 agents.
Right.
Now a big team, you're like, oh, you only have 20 agents. That's like a small team.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's just elevated on all aspects. I mean, our systems, our CRM, our scripting, our lead generation, the type of agent we hire, how we hire them, how we put them through the university, everything's leveled up.
How many of those 86 or 87 agents are in the university now?
32.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Similar numbers.
Almost.
I mean, like we have 80 agents on our team with 30 in the new agent training program.
So not exactly 50, the same, but
and 50 that produce. Right. But
yeah, ours are like 52 have sold a home or something, and 32 haven't or something. I don't know. The last
we only had 50 that sold a home. So
yeah, we're taking notes because you're better than us.
I think mine's 51.
I like to chase. It's okay.
Yeah, it's always good.
I'm totally going to look at my report right now as we're talking, because I'm totally interested in this kind of stuff.
All right. So you told us, while you're looking at the report, I'm going to ask you a different question. You told us what your team member goals were. Do you also have transaction goals, or is your growth just about team members knowing that transactions will come as well?
No, I mean, I can kind of formulate and see with math, but I did have a transaction goal this year of 600.
Okay.
And I did 7 something. So I'll end at 800 this year, and around 500 million. And so I did have a transaction goal, but no, it's more of like what happened was I was actually at an event, and this guy comes up to me and says, I've been following you on social media, which it's weird that people follow you and watch you and understand your life. Cause I'm like, wait, people look at this stuff. So he goes, you are thinking too small. He's like, how many agents do you have? And I said, 15. And he was like, so how much money do you want to make? And I said, I would love to net 2 million. And he goes, okay, so why don't you want to net 10 million? And I was like, well, what do I do to get there? He's like, you get 200 agents on your team. I was like, well, okay. And he was like, I want you to have 200 agents on your team by the end of next year. And I was like, all right. So I got to work and I started recruiting.
Challenge accepted. Yes.
Literally, it was an older dude. And if I learned anything, he had a lot more agents than I had, and he made a lot more money than me. So I said, okay. So
was that Gino?
No, it was Chuck Fazio.
Oh, nice. Chuck in our
Fazio.
Marketplace.
Yeah, I literally said, I had no idea who he was. I was like, this guy. And I was like, how many agents do you have? He's like, well, at my brokerage, I had 3,000. I'm like, what? So.
Yeah. No,
I'm in his building right now.
Oh, who? We had a comment. What was that?
David Marsh.
I said I'm in Chuck's building right now.
And that's
there you go.
Building.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's fun.
Look at that full circle. Now you got people listening to the podcast in Chuck's office. That's great.
Yeah. So Chuck was my inspiration, and he knows that because I've told him numerous times. I'm like, dude, it's weird how you can inspire people just through like a walking conversation. It was in like a hotel lobby.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Mark Spain. Do you know Mark Spain? Do you know that name? Yeah. He was like top 5 in the country. You know, they do the whole state as their team.
He was one of the like #1 Keller Williams agents that then
In the country,
but then he left Keller Williams and he became his own brokerage.
Yeah, and he's in the 200,
Florida,
250,
Georgia,
right, multiple
Tennessee.
states.
Yep.
We saw him in Inman in 2016, and he was like, just wake up and be great. And that was one of our moments of, yeah, right? Like it was just
an impactful one-liner, just random interaction at a bar, where now to this day, when we're talking about whatever, if we're going up on stage or if we're getting ready for conferences, it's what are we going to do when we get there? We're going to wake up and be great.
Yeah, right. Like meaning that you have to, when you're on, you're on. You got to be on. You got to be great when you're in it. Like no matter what you're doing, you got to be great. I mean, I can tell by the outlay of your team that you're, I mean, I'm not saying you're the same philosophy, but similar in trying to make the pieces.
So can we pivot to get into a little bit more of the team management?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
When it comes to like, because we run a team and we have leads and we distribute leads, I feel like there's probably similar pain points that you and I have. So I'm going to ask you questions about ones that I feel, just to see what your take is on it.
For sure. And we're similar, but I did run the report and I have 52 agents that have sold. So I am beating you.
Damn it. Wait, let's make sure our number is correct.
Yes. We have to re-add.
No. It's actually way better when you do more, because now I can just listen to everything you say as good advice.
Yes.
Because you do more than us. So, when it comes to leads, one of the things that we have to be careful of is lead source, right? And so how do you track lead source, return on lead source, and whether agents do a better job on paying attention to certain leads based on source or not?
I mean, that's kind of like it's too involved of a question. I mean, but we do track where the lead comes from, and we do track conversion, and we track ROI on every lead source. I do something called a Friday report, and then a monthly report that different people on my team, on the admin team, have to enter in some numbers in there, and that's where I kind of track what's going on.
Okay.
And so from it,
so you break that down on lead source is one of the numbers?
Yes. Yeah. We break it down, you know, whether it was realtor.com, Zillow, sphere of influence, et cetera.
Yeah.
And we break down where like influence is, but we know, and we let our agents know, hey, look, if you're going to take this lead source, you better rock with it, because if we see any hiccups at all, we're going to cut you from that lead source, because there's someone in line ready to go. So we don't put everyone on each lead source, and there's kind of like teams within the team. So it kind of polices itself, because my agents, for example, like Jared, the kid who freaking has 27 listings, he went and said, hey, they have like, basically I've got all this stuff that I gotta, like, I can't take any leads. Like he was like, I've got too many leads of my own. I'm good. Yeah. And then we would never want him on Zillow. So why would we push it to him, even though he's a good agent? So now he slowed down a little bit. We're like, hey, let's turn on your Zillow Flex and go with it. And the second you want off, let us know.
Right.
So we let them come on and off teams, especially they're good agents. We kind of just run with it, because like if someone gets tired or someone has to go on vacation, like they need to be able to have that opt-out time, and we can't have them on 24/7. I feel like because we have an open door and like open communication about it, they just say, hey, Matthew, pause me for 6 days. I'm going to Cancun or wherever.
Yeah. Nice.
So it polices itself, because they know if we look through and we see like no activity on stuff, and we have a lot of automation that's through it, which is through Follow Up Boss by Lopo, and Zapier, and we had a program called Octum, but they just discontinued it. So a couple of different things that we've used to kind of automate it.
What's some of your favorite automation pieces?
That is out of my scope of intelligence. So you'd have to ask Matthew on my team, but I would say he's my operations.
Is he your ops guy?
Yeah. Awesome. So one of the biggest things is that I love the fact we use a thing called Cognito forms. So this is something that's actually pretty simple. Everyone can do, even if you're a solo agent. This is a great step. Cognito forms is basically a fancy Google Forms. So for example, when we get a new listing, in California, we have title and escrow. In California, typically the seller picks title and escrow. So we have it automatically when the agent gets a new listing, they fill out this form, they upload all the documents to it, and it gets sent to title, it gets sent to escrow, it gets sent to my transaction department in the Philippines. It gets sent, if they check the boxes, to our stager. It gets sent to our photographer and videographer as well, if my agent checks the boxes. Almost every time, we need photos and videos. So that's fine. That's usually automatic. Not every time we need staging. So we have all those options, and you can do submission settings of where you want this piece to go. So that's kind of how we have it set up. It's one of the coolest programs you can have. It's a fancy Google Forms called Cognito, Cognito.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And like title will run a title report. My agent doesn't even have to call them.
You do a title report before it sells? I mean, in this market, everything
In California.
Yeah,
in California, we do it. I don't know. We've always done that though, even when the market wasn't like crazy hot, but we sell, like we've had like 2 expired listings or something. It's very little.
Yeah.
Because everyone's apparently leaving California, but not San Diego.
Yeah, no, I always wondered that because for us,
everybody's leaving California, even though the property values are still rising. I don't.
Yeah, everyone's like, my brother's like, California's dead. I'm like, oh, that's funny because I have 300 people at this open house of my agents right now. They had 300 people the other day.
Yeah.
It's
unfair. You have a thing called the ocean. Yeah. And I like it out there too. I get it. So awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
So but it's a good system to use Cognito Forms. So definitely that's the best automation advice I can give to you, even if you're a solo agent. It's $10 a month.
And so then that form, you also have then the automation set up where whatever they submit on that form, it posts that as a note inside of your CRM or something, I assume?
Yeah, it'll move things to pending in your CRM. And that's because Follow Up Boss has an open-ended API key that you can connect with. And you can do it all through Zapier. It'll move things like when you have a closing, it'll mark it and it'll know how many days your escrow is. So if it's 30 days, it'll send you an email 30 days or 25 days in saying, hey, is this closing still happening? What gift would you like to send your client? And then we have all the gift options. The gift options all go to the vendor of whatever gift we select. And we make sure that it's branded with the agent's information on it. So it's like if a rock says, the Smith home established 2021, and on the back, it would be like Samantha O'Brien, realtor. And they would then be able to get to write it off because it's marketing.
Right. Does it say Samantha O'Brien, PorchLight Team, realtor?
It's whatever the agent wants to have on it.
Okay. And then you pay for it or the agent pays for it?
The agent pays for it. Yeah.
Got it.
I want to talk a little bit about staff if we can, because you mentioned Matthew, but first, do you
and sales managers
do you interview separately, or do you look for agents like where you're, because you're constantly recruiting agents? I assume if you're trying to go to 200, you have to have constant recruiting processes, right? Like, but do you look to find the new employees out of the agents you hire, or is that like now
totally separate job?
Yeah,
that's like an Indeed job posting.
Right.
For
Yeah. So we do separate. Now I'm so now it's because it's becoming kind of a corporation, which I think it is a corporation now. I mean, I am a corporation, but I'm saying like, mentally, I've now established like, holy shit, I run a huge company now. My agents all have healthcare. They all have over $100,000 jobs on the admin side, which is great, which I'm proud of. And basically a living wage in California, which is very hard to do. So I have an onboarding she's an ex-kindergarten teacher. She's actually my aunt. I convinced her to quit teaching school. And she brings people on, she interviews them. She kind of holds their hand before we like put them through the ringer of like real estate. So they think it's all soft and sweet. But no, she helps them out in the beginning. But she's in charge of like birthdays. So today we have a birthday party at my house for everyone whose birthday is in October and November. And they invite the agents and then their spouses and their kids. So I have kind of a sweet backyard with the pool, and we ordered takeout, and we're all going to have, so there's like 15 people coming to my house tonight, and she coordinated all that. So that's her kind of job description. It's kind of like culture queen, onboarding, HR. And then I've got Matthew, who's operation, who's anything like, hey, how the heck do I get my computer to go up on that screen on the TV? Because I don't know how to do this. He does everything on the tech side and operations. And he came from San Diego Health, some health division. So he was working for the government, making shit money. And I offered him a job, and he was like, I give him all the freedom in the world. They also have unlimited vacation. And they're paid very well, like I said. And then I have Kim, who's a transaction coordinator, and she is our TC for the whole team. And we don't have, and I just hired an executive assistant. My first assistant started maybe a month ago. So she's my executive assistant.
As far as transaction coordination, if there's only one supporting 500 transactions, she just uploads the documents. It's responsibility of the agents to do everything else. And how does that work?
Nope. So we do have a virtual assistant. So we do have a couple people that kind of support for that. But what happened? 2. So we have 2 virtual assistants. What happens is the Cognito form gets filled out when they get the new sale. All of the things. So in California, it's called a real estate residential purchase agreement, statewide seller and buyer advisory, all the different stuff that you need, title, anything that you get when you have a brand new sale. You hit enter, that goes to the transaction coordinator department. They check to make sure all the signatures are there and that everything is uploaded correctly. If they're missing one document, the transaction coordinator department kicks it back to my agent and says, please add the agency disclosure or whatever it is. They won't start the file till it's done. That person uploads everything to SkySlope and gets it started. Kim looks at it, goes through the dates, makes sure the dates are correct, and sends the welcome email to the client. Kim's the only one who's doing the interface with the clients and the agents. The virtual assistants only work with Kim, and they're on Zoom with Kim 24/7, or whenever she's at work. On Zoom in her office, she has a big screen up with the virtual assistants from the Philippines. Any questions that they have on it, but really they're just kind of doing task. Kim's the transaction coordinator that's actually doing the transaction management. So it really alleviates all those pains of like uploading to SkySlope one at a time, etc. Once in California, we then collect the disclosures from the listing agent. They package them, they send them to our agents. Our agents take them, review them with the client at the inspection, face to face. We don't send them to the before. If there's something serious in the disclosures that could cancel the deal, we'll tell the client before the inspection because we don't want them to waste money. But we don't know disclosures in California until we're already in contract. I don't know how it is in Arizona. So that's how we have it. Agent reviews them. Agent then sends an email back to their clients, CCs Kim and the virtual assistants, which is all one email. And it says, hey, Kim, I reviewed all the disclosures with my buyers, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, and everything looks great on disclosures. Also, here's my visual inspection. We'll have the inspection report back by tomorrow, and we're working on the request for repairs or the credit. And then it says, please send to the buyers in DocuSign. So then that gets done. And then the virtual assistant team knows to upload it to DocuSign because they've already been reviewed and they're good to go. And the client knows, hey, these things are going to come from a random DocuSign.
Right.
Like, what am I signing? Oh, it's all the stuff we already reviewed. So then there's no questions. And it's just streamlining it. It's not being any way like, because someone was like, oh, that's, you're kind of like making it seem, I'm like, no. You're going through every disclosure with them together, like reading every single one of them at the inspection. I make my agents attend every inspection.
Great.
So then if it's like, oh, we had a leak under our sink, and it's like, oh, it was in 1991. And this, old seller's like, oh, I'm disclosing it because I want to disclose everything. And then the buyer's not like freaking out because they're like, oh yeah, that's been dry. Like, here's the moisture reader. We're good, But if it's something major, then we're like, hey, we should probably cancel. And we ask the inspector.
Yeah.
And we ask the inspector, we're like, hey, should we cancel? The other thing we do to alleviate time is if the inspector says, hey, your panel's screwed up, we have certain electricians, certain plumbers, et cetera, that we can video things to, or even FaceTime while we're there so that we can get the answer immediately versus rescheduling and coming back.
Wow. We have a supply problem when it comes to contractors in Arizona, and it's been just crazy hard to get people out the stuff. So that's exciting to hear other people don't have that problem.
Yeah. Let's go virtual meetings.
Yeah.
Sounds
virtual meetings.
Exactly. So they're saying it's super hard to get them on your calendar. So let's just do a FaceTime with them and be like,
Sure.
Hey, can you FaceTime me like 3 minutes? If they can't, you video it and you just send it to your electrician and you say, hey, David, my electrician, does this need a new panel? And he'll be like, yeah, that you need to get rid of that panel. It's going to cost you $2,800. I can see from the wiring, blah, blah, blah. And be like, and here's all the pages that he took pictures of the exposed Romex wiring or whatever. And he can give you an idea of a quote. He can't give you an exact, but he gives you an idea. So then if you do want to do a credit or whatever, you don't have to have that electrician out there. Because a lot of the issues we encounter are the exact same things. Like yes. I, as an agent, can go and give you quotes for what you need to do. It's like, oh, your hot water heater. Oh yeah, it's not 36 inches off. You don't have a flue. You don't have hot water heater straps. You don't have that. Like, I know what to look at every single time. But my new agents, they just FaceTime these people.
Awesome.
Yeah. Nice.
We got to do a commercial, and then I want to come back and see if anyone out in the audience has a question for
commercial break. Well, all right, commercial break. Let's take a quick commercial. We'll be right back, Mark. Hold on with us.
At what point are the realtor associations going to make ethical violations public? We think it's crazy that a realtor can be found guilty of an ethics violation, but no one knows about it. We're doing more harm than good by guarding the bad players from being exposed. Real Estate Leopard seeks to change this with the public display of all ethics complaints. Go to realestateleopard.com today and pledge your support.
Thank you for waiting for our commercial break. We're back. We're back. You look like a little skeptical that was enough time for a commercial break, but I can guarantee you.
I thought I was gonna be able to get some coffee. I was like, well, I guess
you can take a sip.
First time viewer, first time guest.
First time viewer, first time guest.
All right. Is there anyone out there that wants to ask him a question? If not, we get more questions.
I see you, Dave. I see you, Mark. Nope, they're just listening. All right, let's keep going. So we heard a commercial about Leopard. Jeff,
okay.
Right. What is Leopard? And I think we should ask Mark a couple questions about Leopard.
All right. So Leopard is we're trying to give a voice to the elite agents in the US, Mark. What it is that I think it was best said that now NAR has 1.5 million members. So they can't say that Mark Pattison is the best agent in San Diego, or at least Mark Pattison's in the top 10 or in your either county or your city or your neighborhood. They can't give any recognition because then they would, let's say they would like to recognize the elite 100,000 or 200,000 agents across America in their neighborhoods. But if they did that, then that would piss off the other 1.4 million members because they're not. Same thing for like EXP, because EXP has some good agents in San Diego and they don't want to say this is a great agent because they do a great job. So we wanted to give a voice to those great agents because we believe that the consumer should know, this dude's doing 750 transactions. Like,
he's got a high customer satisfaction score. He's got high metrics that we can see. He's been in the business for a while. Like, he's clearly better than Bob, who got than First Day Frank.
Right. So,
but NAR will never highlight Mark over First Day Frank because everybody pays the same amount of dues. Those are both our members. Leopard doesn't care about that. Leopard is like, how can we help highlight the best agents in the industry so that consumers can find those that are doing the best job? So we put together this association, this group of people who are actually working with consumers so that we can have a voice, not just for consumers, but also so that we can be at tables when conversations about where this industry is going are taking place.
For instance, right now at MLSs across the US, there's 556 of them. They're making decisions for the software that we use. And in Arizona, our software now is 14 years old. And I'm like, you're telling me just now you're trying to, like, they've been fighting, but the reality is we need, because we haven't pushed them sooner, because, I replaced my laptop after 7 years and now my software is 14 years old. You get the point. It's just that because the people that are not selling houses are making decisions, because there's a 900 people in the MLS or in the NAR committee for decisions on what the rules that they make, but yet none of the producers are in there. We would like to have a collective voice for all the producers because we want to fight for what's important for us. And that's what Leopard is. It's just trying to push the agenda forward so that the consumer can see who's doing the best job, an elite job. Because originally NAR was about trying to protect consumers from the bad actors, and we want to therefore push the best forward. Any thoughts?
It's kind of like why I would run for mayor. Someone who actually knows something about business. No,
it's the same with the U.S. government, but we're not going that far, right? But the same thing for Congress.
That's why I said mayor.
Okay. Yes, there's a few key words you're not allowed to use around here, okay? Anything governmental is one of them.
No.
But it's the same idea, is that, we need to have the voices from the business people, the people that are doing a great job, and most importantly, the people that are actually working with 700 consumers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that we think that if we improve the job that we're doing, that the consumer should know that we're doing a better job. So
for sure. It's kind of like Michelin stars for a restaurant, like 3 Michelin stars or a James Beard award nomination, or, hey, they're nominated, but they didn't get the award.
Exactly. I'm a sports fan, so I think it's like the NBA, they have a players union, right? But first of all, you have to be at this level to be in this club. So
yeah, same thing. It is. But if you do create the standard across the board and you put it out there, I think it is important. Yeah, because there is the 1 day Frank or First Day Frank.
First Day Franks. That's right.
Yes.
I think I have two First Day Franks out there right now.
Yeah,
They introduced themselves
but
to
the
me.
difference is, Mark, is you're training them. Right?
Yes,
You told us
100%.
about your 190 videos, because now when you get a license, there's no actual training, and we call it an apprenticeship program, but that people should do 24 transactions before they become First Day Frank, because
For
that's
sure.
what's
Yeah.
burning up people, ruining our brand. So
No, I think so too. I think it would be important if they had to do an apprenticeship before they were able to go on a job. Kind of like if you're an electrician, you have to go and work for someone for a bit. Can't just go and start I think that's what would be amazing for real estate. You have to go on one of these certified teams or shadow this individual and be his assistant or her assistant for X number of transactions.
awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Do you survey every single one of your clients?
We do not, but we are rolling that out. Yes.
Okay.
So we do. We do have that. I want to roll it out where we have a system, but I don't ever hear about it unless it gets below a certain number.
Yeah.
So what we do is we have a thing that sends to the client, to our agents, and it says like, congratulations on your closing. It's through Cognito forms actually as well. Congratulations on your closings. And it's automatic when they move it to close and follow up boss, that form gets sent to them. And it says, can we send out review links? Mind you, this link went out as well before, because we actually ask for reviews before closing. We ask after they've removed contingencies and are moving forward with the house, because it's that like boring period where you don't hear about anything and it's before closing. After closing, people are typically too busy to write you a review.
Right.
So we send it then. If we don't get the review, then we send it again after closing.
Nice. And so we have two versions of reviews on our team. One of them is an internal NPS score that we monitor. And then the other one are when we ask people to leave public reviews on like Zillow or Google or whatnot. Right?
Yeah.
And so what we'd like to do, one of the things that Leopard is fighting for is, why isn't there a go-to industry standard for reviewing clients? Because for us,
That's not owned by another broker, right? Like it has to be independent review.
right. Like it's funny. What you're saying is it's kind of silly that Mark might have 800 reviews on Zillow, but not on EXP.
Right, because
Right,
we're
like a competing brokerage.
because they charge us a fee to work with those leads. So it's actually, they're competing for the consumer to give their information to them first before us.
Yeah.
Where this is more just independent, because the agent should be able to have reviews in a separate place. So
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like
I think so.
we'll see.
Yeah.
well, one thing that we were shocked at was, because I think that most agents, when we talk to them, it doesn't sound like you, but a lot of them are intimidated in reviewing every client, because when we first got involved
They're just used to cherry picking the clients that they know would give them a 5-star review. That's what's most common out there. Is I'm not going to send a client that had a bad experience a link to review me.
Yeah.
And so therefore all of the reviews that are out there are actually biased.
But the reality of what we found is, in reviewing everybody, there's way less of those really awful people that the score still is. We were surprised how high it is. So
yeah, the other thing about it is we learn more off of the negative ones.
well, that's what we wanted to get to.
We learn more off of an 8 out of 10 than we do from a 10 out of 10. And when we talk to agents on our team and we highlight, like, let's say this on Tuesday's meeting, we had 7 reviews, 7 reviews. 6 of them were 10 out of 10s and one of them was an 8 out of 10. And we have the opportunity to coach and to get better based on the feedback from that 8, not based on the feedback from the 10s.
Versus just a Zillow review that you're gonna get 5 stars on, right? Like, because it sounded like you had a selection process, so who should get the reviews or not, right? Like, that's normal. That's what we all have picked for Google reviews, for Facebook reviews, for Zillow reviews, but to me, it's more of us demonstrating that and the reality is, you can't get every client, right? You can chase some people forever.
No, but we got a 73% response rate.
73% response rate is pretty decent, right?
You know how I get mine?
How do you get yours?
So I do a happy hour every quarter. And in order to get a drink ticket, you have to write me a review. And I've had people, I've had people, obviously the people that I'm inviting are the clients that I like. And same with my agents. Like, it's the ones that you get. So there's obviously the ones that we don't get. But some of them are like, I've already written you a review. And I'm like, well, do you have multiple emails? And they're like, yes. I'm like, write me another one.
Yeah, that's right. Did you
They're
include
usually,
it on
they're our friends. Like it's the
Yeah.
way you phrase things and we'd make a joke out of it, but they write us a review.
Yeah. No,
Awesome.
they write us another review is what I
Yeah,
heard.
another review.
Yeah.
And we do have, I mean, we have a pretty good, we have like most reviews on Zillow, I think, in all San Diego County. We also have, and despite what people say, Zillow is not dead. It will be around. Don't worry. And I think
Did you buy their stock yesterday?
Oh, I bought 20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
My agents, a lot of my agents bought stock in it too. It went up again today, right?
A little bit. Yeah. I looked, it was up $4 this morning. Yeah. I didn't
4%
look-
was
I
the
didn't
last
look
number I
lately,
saw.
but,
Yeah, and I'm at almost 400 reviews for Google. So we'll do a lot of contests. That's another thing I could talk about. How do I jump my things is keeping agents accountable in contests.
Yeah.
So
Let's talk about that.
yeah. Give us an
Yeah,
example.
we use Sisu, so you don't have to use it if you're on a budget. Definitely don't get all these programs. One thing is, like I said, profitability, but we use Sisu to track people's points. And if you need a book to read or even just Google it and get the idea, it's called 4 Disciplines. And I know we're all super busy, so you don't have to read every book we suggest. Go into it and you're going to have leading indicators and lagging indicators. Lagging indicators are your escrows, your sales, that kind of stuff. You can't really control that. You can control your dials, your conversations, that kind of stuff. So what I did is for October, we do a contest every other month. For October, I said, hey, every day I want you guys to get 21 points. You can log it in this app and it goes up on a screen in our office. We have screens all over and it tells how many points people have. Well, if you had 21 working days and you had to have 21 points, it equaled out to like 441. I don't check my math. I'm not a lender, but it is like something like that. If you didn't hit 441 points for the month, and you're in our base of like the 2 lower groups, because we divide our team up into 4s. If you're in the 2 bottom base groups, if you didn't hit 441 points, you're off the team. If you hit 500 points, you got entered into a bonus, and I'm taking them all to Valle, which is the wineries down in Mexico. I rented this huge mansion. So if you hit, I think it was 500 points or 550 or something, then you got an introduction to come to the event. So we always do something fun. The points that we measure are leading indicators. So it's 5 new conversations, 5 nurture conversations, 5 sphere of influence conversations, and 5 videos to clients or past clients all about real estate. And then we do 1 introduction to our lending partner. That's 1 bonus point, or a Google review or a Zillow review is a bonus point as well.
And
So if you get 21 points a day.
Yeah, I thought I saw that because in our research where we used to call it stalking, I was just gradually reviewing information about you online. I saw a website that you had because you had a point tracker or something, a link on the website.
Yeah, I do a 100-point day one. So I do that.
100-point day. That's what it was. 100-point day.
So that's the idea is I created
about that. Yeah, go ahead.
You essentially have to get $100 a day. That's the base of the 100-point day. But of those dials, you're obviously going to have conversations. So I took that kind of framework and I said, well, of it, if you have 20 conversations a day or 15 and then 5 videos, you're going to have a pretty damn good day. And from that, you should try to always set 2 appointments. So we always try to set that as the baseline. And then if you don't get 2 appointments by noon, you go to lunch or you go to the gym or whatever you need to do in the afternoon, you come back and you call until you get 2 appointments. That's kind of what's expected of us. From that, we got rid of 2 agents of our like 30 something that were in their first, in the foundation and core levels.
Well, the thing is we're teams, so we're not brokers. Like brokers, it just seems like they're retention bases where they just want you to come in and stay forever and all that stuff. But with a team, because you're after your numbers, you're like trying to make them productive. If you don't.
Yeah, because do you have a monthly fee to be on your team?
No, but I just don't even like the idea of someone around if they're not going to kick butt, because it brings down, everyone wants to be around winners.
Yeah.
We agree.
Nice.
All right. Are we going to wrap it up with that?
I mean, I don't know. I was going to take a lunch break and come back and ask more questions.
Said 3 things.
Oh,
Okay.
3 things. All right.
That's
I
2.
have more than 3 though. I mean, sorry you went over already.
We
but,
did-
how
this
about
was
you
13
How about
things.
that's how you wrap it up? What are the 3 most important things if someone's trying to, or what was the most important things to you to take their team from 24 to 500 transactions? What would you, looking back, say was the 3 most important things?
I think that the onboarding and accountability for sure. So how I said the point system, do something with points and gamifying it. Don't over KPI them, meaning over key performance indicators. Don't track everything because it'll drive your people nuts. But do make it fun. Do a lot of events and have culture. But that would be one thing. Also the onboarding of 30 days and shit or get off the pot. Like I can't just hold your hand and no, I do not have a minute. I have like less than 2 seconds. So don't ask me that question. Making that 30-day university is huge. Going to save you a lot of time. Lastly, I would say, lean on your team. Once you start getting your base of agents, now I don't lead any huddles. I lead one on Fridays occasionally, but guys, I just got back from Europe and Mexico. I was gone for a month. I leave on Saturday for a month until December 5th, and I won't have to pick up my phone once. So if you want to leverage, you got to empower others. Are they going to be as good as you? Not at first, but you know what? Matthew, the guy I was telling you about, and Christine and Kim and Felisa, my lending team, like all these people, they are total badasses now. Like now I'm the loser. I'm like the one that's like, not when you asked me if we do reviews or I think I was like, no. And I was like, wait, we do. I just didn't know. One, reviews gave me anxiety, so I don't look at them, but Matthew does.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So I said one, this is just for the studio audience.
Yes.
You talk really fast and so do I, but just to make sure we got it. So onboard, tracking, but make it fun. Number 2 was 30-day university, making sure that you give the, shit or get off the pot moment, but making sure that you put them through and so that you only have people that are putting in the work while you're there. And 3 I had as leverage and empowerment.
If you're not effing up, then you're not trying. As long as you're ethical and you treat people right on my team, I will not fire you. I had an agent sell the wrong home. It was a true, honest mistake of like, oh my gosh, it was literally the exact same place, same remodel, same listing agent, same price, next door to each other, sold the wrong freaking house. Wrong APN number for the house because the agent put one on, he went and toured it. She took it off, it went pending. She put on the other one, he went, typed in the address, that one popped up. He typed it in, sold that house, went through everything, didn't realize it was the wrong house.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But
we
saved it.
We sold a house for 2 prices one time.
Oh,
that was fun. We still have that agent's still on our team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
was honest mistake.
But they're
Exactly,
getting
it's
after
the
it.
second year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But you can fix someone that's chasing shit. You can't fix it when they won't chase, right?
Nope. And he's sold 44 houses this year so far, and he's got 10 more under contract. And he's second year in the business. He's going to sell probably 55 homes this year. In San Diego, that is absolutely insane.
You talk a lot about agents and being in the business for a short amount of time. Do you bring over agents that are been in the business for 10 years and they're just looking for camaraderie, or are you focused on the new?
The new is better for me because the one that's been in is kind of the know-it-all. And it's not necessarily that they don't know something right. It's just different than what I do. And like the things I do are there for a reason. My escrow officers who we use for a reason, and they have their relationships. It just kind of creates a little bit of a pain for me. Yeah. But we don't say no to it. I did get recruited by a Compass recruiter the other day. And I'm like, the guy who gave my number to the recruiter, I called that guy up and recruited him to my team. He's been an agent for 15 years and he's joining our team. I flipped it on him. I'm like, hey, how much do you do in a year? He's a $15 million producer. I'm like, I'm going to take you to a $30 million producer. And I'm going to give you a better.
I know Joe.
Yeah.
Wait, you know Joe? I know Joe.
We love Joe. Joe sent me a referral the other day.
Yeah.
But I dinner bombed Robert Refkin when we were at Inman. So we were having dinner next to the CEO of Compass, and I went over.
But dude, they're can I say it publicly? They're expensive.
That's why he's moving. So I'm able to offer him a better split on my team on his own deals, and it's still the standard split what I give my agents.
I don't even.
And he knows everything.
Do you? I mean, I don't even like talking about splits. Like, let's just talk caps, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't care what the split is. I want to know how much this is going to cost me on the year.
Right.
Well, and it's resources. It doesn't matter. So my splits are expensive for my agents, but my agents are making 300,000 plus their take home, like 300 grand for a lot of the agents.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't make that. It's not necessarily. It's like if I'm paying for something, I totally understand, but you better give the value back. And I know my value at PorchLight and what I give to them, nothing to do with EXP. I could be at any brand, but I mean, at Compass, I couldn't be there with my team because it's too expensive.
Agreed.
And they don't offer anything. They offer Canva, and I already have the premier membership. So that's what all their marketing is through.
We like Canva as well. So that's a great.
I love Canva. Canva's the shit, which by the way, someone told me that Compass bought Canva, and I was like, go look up valuation of Canva. So we looked it up, 40 billion. Valuation of Compass, 5.9 billion. I was like, I'm pretty sure Canva is going to buy Compass.
That's a pretty big check.
Yeah.
Hope they got some cash in the back.
You mean SoftBank bought Canva?
Yeah, SoftBank could buy Canva, but not. Yeah, awesome. Mark, you've been fabulous. Thank you. I don't think thank
you for coming on and spending a whole hour with us.
Are you going to EXPCon?
I am. I'm going to Portland, Las Vegas for EXPCon, and then I'm going to Puerto Vallarta for a wedding, Portugal for vacation with family, Denmark, and then Tulum. So then I'm back December 5th.
Oh, I was in Tulum earlier this year.
But we'll
we
see
can
you
take
in-
it offline if you have any.
We'll see you in
I have some
Vegas
good-
next week.
Good places for you to
Yes.
go if you're interested. If you're interested in Tulum, just hit me up after, or I'll hit
Send
you
me
up.
everything.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Look up Mark Pattison, guys. He's killing it in San Diego. Give him a shout. Tell him thanks for sharing all the knowledge. Thank you, Mark, for coming on the podcast with us today.
You didn't disappoint at all. And I just knew from your presence on stage at Comedy Night that you were going to be dominant.
If anybody wants a drink ticket from Mark, then leave our podcast a review.
See?
Thanks, Mark. Have a good
All right.
day. Happy Thursday.
You're learning. See you
All right.
guys.
Later,
Bye.
guys.